This episode of The Soulful Stir has been brought to you by Ladybug Organics. Ladybug Organics is a 100% Black woman-owned apothecary. Ladybug Organics offers a host of 100% vegan and organic condition and body oils. Ladybug Organics is known for their Tash Tonic stimulating hair growth oil. It is a 100% organic scalp oil that stimulates hair growth follicles as well as soothes the scalp. They also are known for their Mr. Beard Stuff, which is a highly sought after beard oil for the fellas, as well as their Body Slick body oils that comes in 4 different fragrances. Shop with Ladybug Organics and check them out online at www.ladybug with 2 G's, so that is LADYBUGG organics.com. Also, all of their socials are Ladybug Organics as well. They have a platform on Instagram as well as Facebook and would love for you to follow as well as shop. You're now tuned in to The Soulful Stir with Tash and Diamond Symoné.
We're potting.
We on.
Welcome back to another episode of The Soulful Stir. I'm Diamond Symoné.
And it's Tash.
What's good on your radar, Tash?
Oh, nothing. Just dreading, packing, traveling. Everybody knows I hate going to Atlanta. And so, yeah, I got to make that journey this week. And I ain't really happy about it. But I'm going.
Atlanta seems like such a fun place. It's like I've been to Georgia, but I've never been to Atlanta. And so when I hear people talk about it, it feels like a figment of my imagination a little bit. Like, I know it exists and people just look like they're having so much fun in pictures and at like concerts. But at the same time, like, I've never experienced it. So I just go off of what y'all tell me.
That's the propaganda that the man is trying to sell you. Okay? Atlanta is ghetto.
Talking how you talking, you need to have my hat on right now.
It is the propaganda that I'm serious. Like, Atlanta is real ghetto. Don't get me wrong. It has some very, very cool parts. And at one point in time, Atlanta was cool. But right now, it's so reality TV laced, social media driven, TikToking, YouTubing, loving hip hop and Real Housewives of whomever. Like, it's just too much. Like, you know, and it's weird because when I lived in Atlanta, at that time, it was like before the big surgence of social media and stuff. And because I was at Georgia State, I would see a lot of celebrities all the time. Like, people were out like a lot. But also being from Detroit, where, you know, people often make the joke like, Detroit, everybody is celebrity in Detroit. Like, we don't care who anybody is. We just, you know, everybody in the club, we vibing. Like, we see you, dog, what up? We might, you know, what up, dog? We gonna dap you up a little bit and we gonna keep on vibing. Everybody is their own star. So I hate that Atlanta has turned into this, like, idol worshiping place, if that makes sense. It's like everybody wants to be seen and they want to know, you know, I'm friends with the so-and-so popping person that's on the scene. They just want to be seen. They want to be known. And this is all because everybody is trying to get famous. Everybody's trying to make some money. Everybody wants to be on TV. Everybody wants, you know, 1 million followers. It's just, it's real performative, and it's socially constructed, and it's not organic, and that's what I don't like about it anymore. So a lot of people my age will always make jokes about old Atlanta versus new Atlanta. Old Atlanta was hands down a place to be. Like, that Atlanta, you know, like early 2000s, you know, 2005, 2007, you know, white tee era, baggy jeans and, you know, jean shorts, that era. It was fun. It was cool. People was dancing. People was clubbing. Now everybody's doing everything to be seen, and it's not organic, and it don't feel the same. So, like, when I go to Atlanta, I strictly be on family time. Like, spending time with my sister, her kids, spending time with my mama, going to see my best friends, and coming home. Like, I barely even tell people when I'm in town anymore because I hate for people to try to like plan stuff with me because I really don't want to be out in them streets. It's like, I want to go pick up some food from my favorite spots and go sit in the house.
Yeah, no, that's interesting because all the while you've been telling me about Atlanta, I I can kind of compare that to LA. Like the way that people describe some parts of LA. I can't speak for all of LA because I haven't been to all of LA and neither have my friends. But I've heard that it's very similar to that in many spots. And like the connections that you meet with people, a lot of people in LA, they don't feel authentic because it feels like everybody is there for something. Like everybody wants something. They're trying
Yeah.
to get to the next phase in their life or get that big gig, or they want to be with the Joneses and the famous people. So that sounds very similar.
Yeah, everybody got a motive.
I wonder, like, we should have some people on the pod that's from LA and Atlanta and they can speak on it. But I also understand, like, it's a different experience for people who are expats going to a place versus people who have grown up in that
Yeah.
same place.
No,
It's a
for
totally
sure.
different lived experience. But safe travels. I'm sure you'll make the most of your time while you're in Atlanta.
I mean, yeah, I really don't have a choice because I'm in a different headspace now. So even though I hate going, I never know when it's gonna be my last time going. When I'm gonna be going down there for different reasons. Because for the last 2.5 years, I've been going to Atlanta for funerals and for memorials and for activities in the remembrance of. My next time going to Atlanta after this is going to a gala that my sister is giving in honor of my niece who died right before my son died. Like, so it's really weird. Like, it's just, and I think I've always hated Atlanta, but I think now it has this permanent stain on it where I feel like everything about it is grief driven for me because it opens Pandora's box so much for me on those flights going there and on the ones coming back home. So I think that's just it. It's just, it has such a negative connotation now in every sense of the word. Like, it's just very gloomy and cloudy. And when I go, I think of the people that are not there that I used to go and see, and that I'm traveling there without somebody that I used to travel with to go there. Like,
Right.
it opens up so much. So I think that's a lot of it too. Like, every city has its pros and cons. Like I said, I still don't like Atlanta. Don't get me wrong, y'all. I ain't softening up. I'm standing on business. I still do not like Atlanta, but I also know that it's not just an unsubstantiated hate. I do have like trauma connected to the place. So, it's just one of those things. It's like, okay, all right, I got to go there. And I go so often now, it's become a chore because I pretty much go once a month or once every 2 months. And it's never like I get to go every once in a while and do something cool. Most of the time I'm going, it's because something is happening. Somebody is sick. I gotta go see and help with this person because they're sick. We gotta do this, we gotta do that. I never get to go there and just go. I'm always going for something that requires a lot of emotional labor.
Yeah, that's understood. I'm sure you're not the only one. Some people will be able to connect with that directly. Well, just to lighten the mood a little bit, I'll share. I do have a little good news. A lot of good news, but I'll share one thing. I'm officially done with grad school, and it feels very surreal. I have not cried about it yet, but I feel like it's coming because I was just sitting in my car the other day thinking, I really did that. Like, in spite of.
And it's crazy because I was about to laugh at you, but I remember having that moment. But it's crazy because I think I had it. I know your situation was different, but
Yeah.
I had it like maybe like 2 or 3 nights before graduation. Like, I was getting myself together and I just sat on the steps of my house and cried for like 30 minutes. Like, what really just happened? Like, did I do this?
And it's bittersweet too because like our cohort, like everybody was saying their heartfelt messages, and some of my friends that I've made in the cohort, like they sent me some really beautiful messages, and everybody's just sharing like how proud we are of each other, and like we really did this, and sending our farewells and good luck. And it's like that's one part of it, but then the other part is like me reflecting on the fact that I really did that. I really did that in spite of everything that I had going on. And there were so many days where I questioned why I chose to do it, because it was so much work. It was so intense. And I think that people don't talk about grad school enough, or just higher education in general, the grit that it takes to get through something like that. Like, you literally have days where you will pull all-nighters. If you're someone like me who's working full-time and managing your personal life, your professional life, also being a doula, which I took a break from for part of my grad experience, but I was still supporting people and answering questions and popping up. And that takes a lot when you're consumed with all of this work and writing papers and reading research journals, textbooks, novels. Well, I read novels for pleasure, but it's like everything in between. It's like, wow, I really did that. And not only did I do it, I excelled at it, because I'm graduating with the 4.0. And that is, now, if you've never been to grad school, most programs require that you get a B or better in your courses, or you will not pass. A C, C's don't get master degrees.
I'm sorry, I was about to say something messy.
Please,
no, because I'm not about to get you started.
Please say it. Now I gotta know, because you said I don't know how to get you started. I have to know what it is.
It's about time. You've been in school for 5 years.
Oh my God. Yeah, it does feel like 5 years. It feels like 5 years. It does. And then I stopped.
The audacity, though, that's what killed me. But okay, we're just gonna leave that alone.
It has not been 5 years, y'all. But I was in the accelerated program.
That was me being messy from a prior situation.
Oh my God, please. We will talk more off air.
Because what?
We're going to take a 5-minute recess. I want order.
You better leave Uncle Eric alone. Rest in peace, Eric Mays. I can't believe that man passed away. You know who I also can't believe passed away? I'm sorry that we getting off topic as usual, but
that's what makes it the Soulful Stir, because that's what we do.
I know y'all gonna cancel me, and I don't care, because I knew I was gonna get canceled before episode 1 even was recorded. Okay, but I miss Kevin Samuels. I don't care what nobody say.
Oh my gosh,
I miss him. Like, I really hate that man died like that. But everybody felt like he was picking on women, but he got on men too. They just wasn't willing to call. Because they was smart enough.
When he asked that man if his penis was big, I was like, I saw that clip and I was like, okay, this man is really taking it there.
Yes, he's taking it there.
Asked him twice, because they said,
and
what?
Though the delivery
the man
was wrong, a lot of the times the delivery was wild. I truly understood, like, when you listen to what he was saying behind the scenes and peeling back the layers, he was right, because a lot of what he was saying was like, y'all got some high ass expectations for what? Like, and I just feel like that about a lot of people. Like, you can't, and I don't mean it like in a vain sense, but I just mean like, I personally was talking to somebody the other day about dating, and I was like, I don't expect my partner to do more for me than I'm willing to do for myself. I'm not saying that I wouldn't appreciate it and that it's not accepted if they do. But what I'm saying is I don't have unrealistic expectations.
Right.
If I can't just get up, if I don't get up every Sunday and take myself out to brunch, how can I get in a relationship with somebody and be like, every Sunday I'm expecting you to take me to brunch? Like, girl, you wasn't doing that before now. Like, where did this new expectation come from?
Or if you haven't put yourself in a position to have the means to do these things.
Exactly.
You know, you can't require somebody to do that. I mean, you could, but that's not something that I would either.
And that's one of those things that I think that Kevin Samuels was trying to get people to understand, was just like to focus and worry about what's important. Like, right, like, for example, right now, I'm just in a situation where, like, my car is tripping. I don't want to buy another car, but I don't want to do this. Like, money just kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't going to say I'm broke, because I ain't, but money is funny. And I don't know if it's a Capricorn thing or if it's just a Tash thing, but let me tell you something. When my money ain't supposed to be funny, all right? It ain't even supposed to be a slight chuckle when it comes to my coins. So, you know what I'm saying? When I start getting a little... I ain't nothing cute no more. I don't want to talk to nobody. I got a permanent attitude and I stay to myself. So I don't mean like I'm walking around here mad at the world, because I just stay away from when people be like, what's wrong with you? I'm focused on my money right now. And so with that being said, I wouldn't dare be trying to date nobody knowing that my money ain't together, especially as a man. Like, you supposed to be taking a woman out on dates and doing stuff. Now, are you supposed to just be spending all your money and going into financial strain doing it? No, don't break the bank. But yes, you supposed to be courting a woman and taking her out and doing nice things. If you know your money funny and you just lost your job, you don't need to be out collecting no numbers. You need to be out collecting resumes, job applications.
Yeah,
you need to be collecting Indeed emails and, you know what I'm saying, Monster.com referrals and things of that nature. You don't need to be out courting women. And I think a lot of what Kevin Samuels is trying to get people to understand is, y'all worry about the wrong thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you looking for somebody to bring all of this to the table, but you ain't focused on you yet.
You know, and it's tough, because there are some aspects of companionship that I feel are enlightening. When you get with someone, maybe they can, or not necessarily that person, but maybe the relationship itself and the experience that you have with that person can open your eyes to a new avenue of thinking and of moving in life. Maybe that person has an influence over the career path that you're going to take, or whether you continue your education, things like that. I think that is very possible, but there's a way. I feel like there's a way to go about. But I think
that time is when you're already in a relationship. My point is, it's different. Like, I'm not about to say that I'm with a guy and he's been handling things, taking care of stuff. I've been taking care of stuff, and he lose his job, and I'm about to be like, hey, we got to break up because you broke. Like, no, not at all.
I would. So no, I'm just playing.
What I mean is,
I'm just kidding.
You shouldn't be going into a situation. That shouldn't be your focus. Like, I feel like if you're truly trying to date somebody, and this is men and women, you should be your best you. You shouldn't be out looking to court somebody when your stuff ain't together, because you're putting your focus in the wrong position. And then when you come across the type of woman that you actually like I ain't trying to be funny, but somebody like me, for example, I'm slick at the mouth. Okay. I'm going to say whatever. And it's
very dangerous.
It's never out of...
It's never not dangerous.
Out of malice, but it's always honestly out of love. Like, somebody sent me a TikTok the other day and was like, your most realest, meanest, cutthroat friend is the one that care about you the most. And she was like, this is for show you. It's always out of care and concern, but this is how I approach. I'm my own worst critic. Like, Capricorns are very rigid, and I'm like that on myself. That's why I'm always stressed out, because I'm not living up to my expectations, not somebody else's, the ones I set for myself. So I'm not going to date a guy and you ain't working, and then you trying to take me out. Every time you call me and be asking me what I'm doing, I'm be like, why you ain't looking for no job? Yeah. You got a job yet? Because that's what I'm going to say.
It becomes a question of your priorities and where you're putting your energy.
Exactly.
Because the other part about that is, I never want to put myself in a position where I'm somebody's end all be all. Because what do you have outside of that? Now, for me, it works that way because I think about things full spectrum. I'm a very busy person. And so what do you have going on? Because are you going to get to a point in life, and if we decide to be in a relationship, are you going to get to a point in a relationship where you feel more entitled to my time that I don't necessarily have to give, and now there's an imbalance there because you don't have as much going on and you have this demand. Like I have questions of that nature in regards to situations like that.
I
But I
mean,
get what you're saying. Like, it's definitely a priorities thing, and it makes you assess that person in a different light and say,
yeah,
like,
it makes me look at your character. Like,
yeah, like,
what's
so
important to you?
yeah, what is important to you and what are you looking for in me? Because if this is not, if it's not a priority for you to get your money up and get yourself in a better place career wise, financially first, before going out and looking for a woman to bring into your madness,
Yeah.
then what do you want? Like, what is this going to be about? What's the foundation of which this is going to be built
Exactly.
on?
Like,
And because I'm a go-getter, it's like, so
and then I'm not
what you
trying to,
gonna do,
and then I'm
buddy?
an overthinker. So I think down the line, like, if you're willing to focus on me and what I got going on, and you chasing me, you trying to wine and dine me and do all of this stuff with me, and you ain't got no job. You trying to do all this stuff. How do I know that I'm not gonna get with you and down the line something goes wrong financially, or just something goes wrong period, or just not even something goes wrong? How do I know that you ain't gonna be out chasing some more ass and not worried about what's supposed
Yeah,
to be at home, which is your
that's fair.
priority? Like, how do I know that you don't have self-control or self-discipline enough to focus on the things that matter? Because what comes a time where I can't input as much as I have. You know what I'm saying? Be
Yeah,
it emotionally, mentally, whatever. If you're not strong enough to withstand that, and all you about to be doing is run around chasing gratification instead of locking in and being disciplined about what you need, which is a job and your sustainability and your stability. Like, if you can't do that, then I don't even find you attractive.
yeah. I think it's very, on a serious note, I think it is a very dangerous combination to essentially put the quest for love above how you feel about yourself or your own self-worth, which actually brings us to mind body imbalance. Because it's interesting that you brought this up. I saw something very thought-provoking on the internet about self-worth. My friend sent me this video, and it's just so much to unpack in this video. There's a video of a guy, and I can't think of his name right now, on Instagram, but he says that he believes self-worth should be based on your own principles and how much you're able to live up to those principles, not your feelings, not your emotions. And I think we get caught up in that,
Yeah.
like, of allowing people to make us feel some type of way about ourselves,
Yeah.
and then we get our self-worth from that. And if you base your life or you frame your self-worth around principles, these are rules and guidelines that stand the test of time. So it doesn't matter who you're with or who you meet or where you are. You could be anywhere in the world at any time. Your self-worth still stands because
Yeah.
it's grounded in those principles. I feel that when people get into the situations that you are describing, because to me, like, work ethic, that could be having a phenomenal work ethic. That could be a potential principle of self-worth. And if you're someone who's just straggling and you're comfortable with that, and you're comfortable living off of people, and not having anything of your own, then my red flags will go up, me personally. But isn't that a blow to your own self-worth?
I feel like it is. Like, it's crazy because I was talking to somebody the other day. Once again, I think this is one of those same conversations about, you know, how some women are okay. And I'm not knocking women that are okay with being a stay at home mom, but I don't think I could ever truly be a stay at home mom in the sense of staying at home, taking care of kids, serving my husband, and doing nothing else. Like, you know, I used to joke about it when I was younger, but now I see why women was heavy into Avon and Mary Kay. Like, it gave them something to do. It gives you a sense of self-worth knowing that you're contributing some kind of way, like whether that's to the home bills or you making enough little money to put money in your pocket for you to go get your nails done every 2 weeks with your homegirls, and you ain't got to ask that man for the money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to be out here slaving for the man every single day, but I was talking to somebody and I was saying that in my current role, I feel like it's perfection to be a hybrid stay-at-home mom. I go to the office 2 days a week. I stay at home the other 3 days a week, and I can work from home. I still have to contribute. Like, I still like to get up and get out and feel like I'm a part of something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's your self-worth. And I just don't feel like, people treat people the way they're supposed to be treated when they don't feel worthy themselves. And that's back to what we were just saying about men. Like, if you don't have stability and you just straggling, your ego is always going to be bruised when I'm getting up going to clock them dollars every day. You might not say it, but it is, and it's going to come out in your actions in some kind of way.
But what they don't realize is when you operate in a space like that and then you lack an understanding of priorities and you lack an understanding of self-worth in relation to having principles and building on those principles, from my eyes, essentially what you're doing is handing someone the controller over yourself.
Absolutely.
And so the guy goes on to say, to give so much power away to other people is an act of self-betrayal.
Absolutely. I 100%
And I
agree.
just thought that was so powerful. It was like a light bulb went off, like just a burst of knowledge.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, no, that is 1000% true. And so it made me reflect on what my principles are in alignment with my own self-worth. For one, I was thinking about integrity and how important integrity is to me, and trust of myself, and also establishing trust with other people. If I feel like I can't trust you, I would not be around you. Like, I don't play like when it comes to stuff like that. Hence the reason why you don't really see me out like that with a whole bunch of people. Like, but the people that you do see me with are great people. And that's just scratching the surface. But I kind of went into like this rabbit hole thinking like, what are some principles that really align with myself and my understanding of self-worth? And I think it's something that everybody should do now. Like, really sit and think about your self-worth. Don't think about your feelings or emotions in correlation to self-worth. Don't assess your situations and relationships with other people. Like, other people don't matter. Just look at the idea of self-worth or concept of self-worth from a lens of what are your true guidelines and principles that you live by that are non-negotiables for you, and build on that. And if someone crosses that or tries to relinquish the power within your guidelines, then that person might not be the person for you.
I agree.
Yeah. So I thought that was real cool. I'm going to find his username and tag it in the show notes because his page looked really cool. And I just feel like he has a lot more to offer. That was the only video that I saw. Swinging on over to Soundcheck. Did you have something you want to share for Mind, Body, and Balance? I'm sorry.
I do. It is very quick. I'm actually going to use it to segue into my sound check.
Oh, put it in reverse, Terry.
I did something a little bit different this week. But the reason why I'm about to address this here is because people been asking, and I don't play that. Y'all ain't listen. No panties coming off, cause you can't get up in this for free. That's my intro to what I'm about to say. What I was getting ready to say was,
wait, sing it again.
Do you remember Trina? No panties coming off.
Yes.
My love is gonna cause, cause ain't no way that you gonna get up in this for free. So I say all of that to say, for those of y'all who have been asking, I got on Instagram the other day and I was telling y'all my business, and I was at the doctor. I went to the allergist, and everybody been like, so what's your new allergies? What's your new allergies? You're going to find out on this episode, okay? And that's how y'all going to know. You got to listen.
She wouldn't even tell me.
Okay.
Because I definitely asked.
Because I'm about to lose my black card so hard. Okay. I have a chicken intolerance. Y'all
I
should
knew
see
you was gonna
Diamond
say
face.
chicken.
I have a chicken intolerance. So for those of y'all who don't know and don't listen, because I know I've talked about this on the pod before, I'm allergic to eggs. I have been for years. In the last few years, well, namely, mostly since I was vegan for 7 years. When I got to the very tail end of my pregnancy with my son in 2021, I started to consume meat again because I was at a point where I needed to gain weight. I continued that because I was breastfeeding. And then y'all know meat and dairy is like crack. It's a slippery slope. So I just relapsed and I just never fixed my habit. Well, in the last year or so, and once again, we all know, we've discussed before that genetic makeup changes throughout trauma, that good thing. So I've also experienced, compounded grief. All this stuff has changed in my body in the last few years. And in the last year, every time I eat chicken, I feel like sick. But it's not to the point like with my egg allergy where I throw up, but it's like intolerant, like really bad. And so essentially I told my doctor, he's like, you need to go to an allergist, because I've also been having a lot of problems with my asthma, which is going to get to the next list of allergies. So I asked for a test to make sure that I essentially was not at home killing myself, and I was. So essentially what he said was I can still consume chicken, but it has to be in very small quantities, which honestly, I'm not going to lie, it doesn't really bother me, because with me having this issue for the last year or so, I have just not been in the mood for chicken. Like I'll get it if it's something easy to eat like Chick-fil-A or something, but I'm in the space where I prefer beef or seafood. Like I love a good short rib, a good oxtail, some salmon, whatever. But I still do eat a lot of vegetarian meals too, and a lot of vegan meals anyway. Just I do consume meat and dairy products. So I say all of that to say, yes, I have a chicken intolerance, so I will not be consuming chicken unless it's kind of like a dire situation and I don't have any options. And
what will make a dire situation for you consuming chicken?
Like if I'm just somewhere and I haven't eaten, or if that's like the only thing that's decent on the menu that I could get. Because like he said, it's not a full-blown like allergy, like an anaphylactic allergy at this point.
Yeah.
But it is to the point that he said it's more than likely the reason why I was having such a problem with it is because niggas eat chicken every day. I eat chicken 3 or 4 times a day. So he like, when you eat so much of it at one time, it's definitely by the time you get to the third meal, if you'd have had a chicken biscuit for breakfast, you know what I'm saying, chicken sandwich for lunch, by the time you get to the baked chicken for dinner, yes, you're going to feel sick. You know what I'm saying? So it just might be one of those things, like in my mind, I've made a list of like examples and exceptions. Like when I go to Chicago, I'm definitely eating Harold's. When I go to Atlanta.
I've never had Harold's.
Really? Oh gosh, you need to go. It's even good on the fish. So like.
They got fish at Harold's?
Hell yeah.
They used to have a Harold's here, didn't they?
Yep.
Back in the day.
But it's like 3 of them in Atlanta. But when I go to Chicago, I eat Harold's. When I go to Atlanta, I don't know, because last time I told y'all I had a nasty experience at American Deli. But I will eat a Zaxby salad.
This guy said that I think he got salmonella or something from American Deli. And I thought about you.
Well, that don't really help me, because American Deli in Atlanta is like Coney Island in Detroit. It's American Deli on every corner.
Oh, yeah, you don't really know which one.
Yeah, so it could be on a whole other side of town, and they not like...
Yeah, don't go there.
They not like family owned or no shit like that. It's just a whole bunch of Asians and bought a whole bunch of American delis. Like,
can you be more
specific?
Pacific. Can you be more Pacific?
But so because of that, I'm just gonna stick to what I know. But which
it's so interesting. Not to cut you off, but you just made me think. I'm wondering if I have a chicken intolerance, because I stopped eating pork and beef in 2011 when I went to college, and I was subbing.
You went to college in 2011?
Yeah, don't want to know what you were doing in 2011.
Shit. Ooh, Jesus. Okay,
So you were
continue.
well established in your career and making a lot of money by then. So I was just getting
Jesus
started.
Christ.
So I stopped eating pork and beef when I went to college because I had better control over my diet. You know, growing up in a black household, many households actually, if you don't eat what your parents cook, then your ass ain't eating. And that's just how it goes. So better control of my diet. I stopped eating pork and beef, but I started substituting, you know, everything that I would typically eat became chicken. So instead of getting a burger, I would get a chicken sandwich or, you know,
Yeah.
no bacon on my salad. I just throw a little chicken on there. And so around 20, I would say like 2017, I started noticing that at one while when I would eat chicken, I would start feeling nauseous. And so the first time it happened, I'm like, maybe that just wasn't prepared well, like, you know, one-off situation. Second time happened again. Third time happens again. Fourth time happens one more time. And I said to myself, Diamond, if you feel like this is making you feel away, then why you keep eating it?
Yeah.
So I just stopped eating it and I haven't looked back. And I haven't had any issues so far, but I haven't heard anyone else have that same instance where chicken started to make them feel a type of way.
Yeah.
Because when I was describing it to other people, they were like, really? Like, no, not chicken. Like, you know, chicken is one of the, you know, leaner meats that you can consume. But I'm like,
One of the ladies in my Eastern Star chapter in Atlanta,
don't matter.
she's allergic to the hormones in chicken. It's weird because I used to be like, she would always tell us she don't eat chicken and beef. And I used to be like, girl, I seen you with that McDonald's bag. And she was like, I always get a fish fillet. And I was like, oh, really?
yeah.
And she's like, yeah, because
fish
I'm,
fillet,
she
by the
was
way,
like,
is, yeah, I be getting them.
I was about to say,
sometimes.
what you about to say about a fish fillet? Because, baby, I bang a fish fillet, add some
You know,
pickles.
hold on now. I ain't never added no pickles.
Add some pickles to that boy.
Hold on now. You might be on to something.
Add some pickles, and if you feeling a little frisky, add an extra piece of cheese. Because from what somebody told me
Yep.
that work at McDonald's, you only get a half a piece. When you add an extra piece,
Yeah.
it's a one whole piece of cheese.
I do add the extra cheese, but I haven't had pickles on it.
Add some
I saw
pickles.
someone, they posted on Facebook, who eats fish fillets, and it was a bunch of people in the comments like, disgusting, blah blah blah.
Or whatever.
And I just stayed quiet because it's me. And I go and give you a fish fillet meal because that's really essentially the only thing that I can have at McDonald's.
Yeah, and it's
And fries.
So good.
And even the fries, did you know the fries
Had
are
beef season on
oh
them.
my God.
Yeah, because I didn't eat it when I was vegan. And people used to be like, why you don't eat McDonald's? When I was vegan, the only thing I would eat from McDonald's was their oatmeal for breakfast in the morning. And people will be like, you don't get their fries? I'm like, no, because they put a beef seasoning on
That's
them.
crazy. So have I technically been eating beef this whole time? And just
Flavoring.
thought I was just slipping through the cracks. Like
You slipping in the darkness, baby.
No, you eat the McDonald's fries from time to time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But speaking of, hold on, though. Let me finish. Because I got 2 other crazy allergies.
Oh, dang.
And it's about to
Okay.
get wild. Because
Wow.
I have, my doctor has put in an order for an EpiPen.
Oh, this is serious.
Yes.
What are you allergic to?
This is about to be the perfect segue into sound check. Grass and trees.
Grass and trees.
Like a severe grass allergy. And I felt like a dummy. When he said that, he was like, you said your asthma has been acting up for like the last month or 2. He was like, you know, he was like, you got a grass allergy, you got this. He was like, you got this tree allergy. He was like, you know, are you an outdoors person? And I said, you know, on a scale from 1 to 10, about a 7 or 8. And he was like, okay. He was like, but you got a lot of like sediments in your lungs. And I was like, oh, well, I do sit outside on my patio every day and read. And he was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, it's a tree that hangs over the patio. And when I do my morning runs, I run through those trees on 9 Mile. It's like a path, and then you have to walk through this grassy path. And so he's like, that's why, because I kept telling him every time I come home from my runs in the morning, I go in the morning so the air is a little bit cleaner. When I finish running them 3 miles, which is absolutely like nothing for me to run. When I run them 3 miles, my chest be feeling like it's caving in. And he like, well, what are you doing? And I was like, this is the same path I run every morning. I was like, when I come home, I'm completely exhausted because I felt like my lungs have been overworking, like my chest hurts. And when he was like, well, describe the path you're running in, I was like, it's down. I mean, it's through some grass and some trees. He was like, yeah, fool. That's a little crazy. So
that makes sense.
I'm going to take some, like, he gave me some, like, some kind of steroid allergy medicine with a asthma, what do they call them? A corticosteroid that is like in
cortisone?
They call it a corticosteroid is what it's called. But it's like what's in my Symbicort, my inhaler, but it's all together in one pill. Well, it's not a pill, but it's like a nasal spray that I'm supposed to get that you spray in your nose every day. He's like, well, you should be able to tolerate outside better, but he's like, I got to take it for like 30 days before it kick in. And I was like, well, that kind of correlates because it's only gotten like this when the spring happened. He was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I ain't really an outdoors person, but I was like, I do sit outside and like read and mind my business.
Read and mind my business.
Like, really, that's what I be doing till my neighbors start acting all ghetto and doing their ghetto stuff. And then I go in the house.
Your precious neighbors, bless their hearts.
But speaking of, so I don't have any musical things to talk about for soundcheck. And that made me think, like, this could also be a segment about just things in entertainment because I finally finished Hunting Wives.
I did too. Okay, so last episode I said that I wasn't gonna watch it, and I did watch it.
You watched all 8 episodes?
I watched all 8 episodes.
Okay,
and I'm waiting on season 2.
I am beyond.
I
flabbergasted.
I couldn't believe it.
Like,
I couldn't believe it.
And it's crazy because
insert spoiler alert here.
Yes, I feel like most people have, if they haven't seen it after they listened to the last episode, they should have just listened, watched. But yeah, spoiler alert. But so one of my friends posted something the other day on her Instagram, and she was like, I can't believe you niggas is more outraged by homosexuality than pedophilia. And she was talking about something so unrelated. And I was like, that's how I feel about Honey Wives. And she was like, I haven't seen the show yet, but I keep hearing that that's a good assessment. I'm like, yes, because everybody is keep making up the parts about 2 grown women having consensual sex with each other, which was kind of weird because you got a husband, her husband, I wasn't considering a real marriage. I mean, Margot and her husband, I wasn't considering that real anyway. But you and Graham, Sophie, y'all got this marriage. Y'all already been through some trauma. But whatever. Like, if y'all want to go out there and do y'all thing, that's fine. But nobody is outraged about the fact that this grown woman just kept, like, literally talking about how she was having sex with this kid. Like, when she was like, you and your husband said, yeah, you said you weren't gonna have sex with another man. She was like, oh, he ain't a man, he's a boy. Like, and girl, so you stood on business.
Yeah,
you stood on business. But I also feel some type of way
about Sophie allowing her to coerce her into being with that other underage.
And then she thought it was sufficient to tell that boy, I apologize if we did something the other night. He was like, we didn't, because you was being weird. But outside of that, you thought if you sat there and committed statutory sexual assault, statutory rape on this man, you thought an apology was going to be sufficient?
You kissed him.
Y'all standing in the club parking lot and you talking about, I apologize if we did something the other night. He was like, nah, because you was being weird. But what?
Yeah, that was very wild. That whole part of that storyline, and then to come to find out the whole, the whole whirlwind around what was his girlfriend name? With
Abby and the abortion?
Yes. And the truth about the abortion and how Sophie just started putting 2 and 2 together. I am very curious to see what happens in season 2, because now we starting to see Sophie, like, she low-key, she already turned into one of them.
She has, but
she's like,
and I
it's no
think
turning back
if
now.
I assess it correctly, like I done been around enough messy white girls to kind of think that I know how this gonna play out. She's gonna be the queen bee now for the next season because Margot was only the queen bee because of her husband.
Because of
and he didn't let her go. And then she had her brother who was her muscle.
He smacked her so hard.
Yes, she had her brother who was her muscle.
That shocked me.
And I'm just gonna say he's no longer available. That's what I'm just gonna leave it at that. Y'all can watch the show and figure out what happens. But he's no longer available to be there for her.
Dang, you just made me realize she don't know yet.
She don't know.
She speculating something happened. And I think she speculated based off of the context clues.
Yes.
She speculates that Sophie was involved, but she don't know anything.
No. She don't.
Yes. And this is getting
But that's how they cycle through things. She's going to be the queen bee now because now she essentially knows everybody's dirt and she has her own. She's what Margot was initially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I can.
And now she ain't got nothing to lose.
She doesn't. That's what's crazy. And she's at that point with her husband where
she ain't got nothing to lose. He gone.
Yeah. No, well, you talking about Margot or Sophie?
Sophie.
Yeah, Sophie's husband. She was already like, and I probably would be looking at him sideways too if he handled me the way that he handled her with that whole situation.
But you know what though? The only reason why I didn't fault him for handling her that way, because look what he had already had to deal with her and that trauma of the other time. And it was, girl, you not supposed to be drinking. And it's you went from and he said it, you went from not wanting to go to this NRA meeting, now that you done went and got a gun and brought it in our house. Yeah, and something could have happened to our kid just because you following these girls. Like any husband would feel some type of way. Like most husbands, and I'm not saying this, it got to be like in a mean way, but most husbands are okay with their wives having a like real close friend group or real close girlfriends to a degree. But the way Sophie was carrying on, any husband would have been mad about that. Cause I was watching it, telling her like, girl, go home to your family. Like every decision was getting worse and worse and worse. And I was like, girl, please go home to your family. Like
is getting worse.
Yes. Like you taking shots. Y'all done snorting Xanax off the table.
I was just like, girl. It was already a red flag when she pulled up on a jet ski. Like, yeah, come on. I would have been like, no, I'm at the beach with my family. Like,
and that's what I said too. Like when I was sitting here watching it, that was the first thing I said. I was like, oh, you crazy for going? Because I'd have been like, no ma'am. And that's when I would have had to tell her about herself. Like we ain't none of that.
Yeah, no. And the way they swoon over Margot is crazy. Because I mean, whatever.
Because her husband got the money.
Yeah, she has. I think it's more along the lines of status and
that's all that is.
Girl. But very interesting show. If you have not checked out The Hunting Wives, check it out. It's on Netflix and it's worth the watch. I know last episode I said that I didn't think it was gonna be my cup of tea, but I had some time to decompress after school and after I turned in that paper, my final portfolio, all 107 pages. And I said, you know what? I can use something just to kick my feet up and relax and not think too much about. So I did get into it. The other thing that I did get into also, I took a break from writing last week. And you wanna know where I went?
What?
Oh, I told you. I went to the Breezy Bowl. With my one of my Sans, Chelsea. Shout out to my Sans, Chelsea. We had a great time. Phenomenal show. Now, and so let me back up and I'm gonna hit on the show and then I'm gonna hit on something that really pissed me off. Not about the show, but about the venue. The show itself was amazing. I had already seen like the TikToks, a couple of the TikTok videos, Instagram, you know. The girlies like to put their footage online. So you get a glimpse of what's going to be happening on the show. But it was cool like to see it in real time. they're, of course, it's Chris Brown. They're giving full out dance, full out theatrics. I mean, the choreography, the lights, the visuals, everything was just so well done. And vocally, Chris Brown he's a total package. And I know people have their reservations about Chris Brown. I'm not here to debate with anyone, honestly, because I'm not. Like, I'm not here to debate with anybody about their opinion. That's your opinion. But I can say that Chris Brown, he is one of the most talented people that we've seen in our generation. And I stand on that after seeing that show. This is probably like my 4th time seeing him, like, total, since he's been out. And he never disappoints. I don't remember one show that I went to and was like, that was just okay. Like, I wouldn't really, no. Like, I was into that show. And he sung so many songs that was like, you will only know this song if you're a real Chris Brown fan.
So it's funny because I'm not a Chris Brown hater, but I'm not like, so somebody asked me the other day, like, oh man, I'm surprised you didn't go to the Chris Brown show. And I was like, do I look like I fucking go to Chris Brown concerts? Like, I'm a grown ass woman. And I ain't trying to hate on Chris Brown. And I think when I searched deep inside my psyche, because I really wanted to know, like, Tash, how do you like so many of his songs, but you could care less about him? And I thought about it. And it really is me being brainwashed. I'm not even going to say brainwashed, but for those of you that know, when I talk about it, my brother and I are 11 years apart. And I've never been into like R&B singers, like males, like, you know, like solo males. Like, you know, when I grew up in the era like New Jack groups, you know, Jodeci, Boyz II Men, those kind of groups.
What are New Jack groups?
Like New Jack sound, like the Andre Harrell production, Heavy D sound, like that of the early 90s. Like,
I thought you meant New Jack City.
No,
I was like, what does that mean?
New Jack, like
I thought
Guy,
you hated that movie.
Like New Jack Swing.
I
like,
thought that movie made you scared.
No, like Guy and
why would you
like
listen
that?
to music from there?
But so I just never have been into solo R&B acts, like especially male acts. Well, I say all of that to say that my brother is probably the first person I ever knew that had a Chris Brown CD. Like the very first Chris Brown album, my mama brought my brother the CD because he wanted it so bad. Like my brother was this, he was funny looking. He's a handsome grown up now that he's a man. But my brother was like this funny shaped weird kid. He was like chubby at one point in time, but he was like a dancing fucking machine. Like my brother, like all them Atlanta dances that we did in college, that Whoop Rico, that, you know what I'm saying, Crank That Batman, all of that stuff. My brother used to know them dances. Like I used to bring my brother to college campus with me to spend a night, and my friends used to pay him to dance for them. Like he would dance, and like he would get his life. Like he was into this, and so he used to love Chris Brown. And like every time I think about Wall to Wall, I think about walking in my brother's room and seeing him like try to like pop lock to Wall, and I cannot get it out of my head. And so I always associate Chris Brown with being like a music artist for kids, which is so weird.
It is weird. It is weird. And you just made me think about that TikTok that I think it's a lady, and she's like, my mom trying to figure out why the chicken is not out of the freezer.
That's exactly that used to be my
what
brother.
I was doing.
That used to be my brother.
She do the whole Wall to Wall choreography.
That used to be my brother. He used to play baseball. My brother's played baseball all his life. Like so much so that he's a baseball coach now. Like he played college baseball, blah, blah, blah. But my brother used to get in trouble for silly shit like dancing in the dugout. Like, because my stepdad was the coach. And my brother used to be like doing the fucking moonwalk and stuff in the dugout. Like,
that's so fun. That's so fun.
But he used to listen to this Chris Brown album so much. And this was the very first one. And I used to just always associate it with like kiddie music. You know what I'm saying? Like Kids Bop, because that's my first introduction to him, because it was my brother. And I don't get me wrong, it's so many of his songs that I listen to, even like on those albums. Like Take You Down is one of my favorite songs. Like I love so many of his songs, but I'm never one of those people that like, the songs have to grow on me. Like one song I will say I absolutely hate is Residuals. Because
I didn't get into the Residuals the way that people got into it, but I'm a Chris Brown fan.
Well, it's such a gloomy song.
It's a sad song.
And then in this point in my life, I think about lyrics a lot. And it's,
yeah.
I don't give a damn if I done left you, baby. I don't care who getting it now. Like, who? Why do you care who getting your residuals, baby? If y'all done, y'all done. Let them get that. If it wasn't for you, it ain't for you. If it ain't yours, if it was yours, you would have it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm getting old, and I just start thinking like that. Like, I don't care about who getting them residuals. Yeah. Once I leave a nigga alone, I don't care who get it. Okay.
I have thoughts either way. I can't share them on air. But
that's like my
thoughts about residuals.
When I thought about, like, when I sing residuals and I think about that and I hear him, who's good enough, my love? Who's gonna, like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Tell me who. Like, we don't care. Like, once I'm done with you, nigga, I don't care who getting the love, baby. You can go spread it far and wide. I don't want it no more. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that.
And so it just be kind of weird to me. Like, I hate to hear that song because I'd be like, why is you begging about something that don't even matter?
Yeah, that's one way to look at it for sure. All I can say is I really enjoyed myself. Summer Walker and Bryson Tiller opened for him. And I can also say that Summer Walker has certainly come a long way with her performance because me and Kenya went to go see her for the Over It tour. Yeah, we went to the Over It tour. And we stood outside in the rain for about an hour. And then when we got in there, it took her, I want to say maybe it felt like 2 hours to come on stage. And then the original opener that, I didn't mean to go on a Summer Walker tangent, but here we are. The original opener that was supposed to be on the tour with her, Kenya and I listened to her music too. And so we were expecting to see her. She was not there. They had some random opener. I'm assuming, I don't know where he was from. I can't even say he's from the city. Some random opener that nobody liked. And by the time she came on stage, like, you can tell the crowd was just like, hurry up. Like, just hurry up and get it over with. But she was so, like, she just, her energy felt like she didn't really want to be there. And so it's very cool to see her because I love Summer Walker. I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, and I don't like her because of that. I understand, like, you know, people talk about her social anxiety. I get it, okay? She just happens to be talented as hell. And I love her music. And it's cool to see her playing in arenas now and see how her performance has improved. I know she's catching a lot of flack still on social media for whatever reason. But if you're somebody like me, I pay attention to everything, like in terms of like performance. I love the lights. Like, I'm looking at the visuals. I'm looking at how clean your dancers are, everything. And she's come a long way. So shout out to Summer Walker. You don't like Summer Walker?
At all.
Oh,
she don't
man,
even look like she bathed. I don't like none of her songs. And I definitely hate Heart of a Woman. That every time it comes on, I be wanting to, I literally want to, like, ram my car into the back of somebody. Like, sometimes every once in a while I like to listen to the radio, like, to see what y'all listening to, we could talk about on the show because y'all
like
know. But no ma'am.
You don't know what love is. That's my jam.
Nope.
Session 32.
Nope.
Man, you crazy.
And when she told the world she was giving her baby honey, you should have been outraged.
Her baby was an infant at the time.
Yes. Not 1 years old.
Yeah, I don't be getting too much into what people say on the internet about their kids because my thing is I don't know anything about people unless I know you personally. And so I don't know if you could be trolling.
She was like making baby food and putting this stuff in here, like showing people like, this is what I do for the baby, for Bubbles or whatever the little baby name is.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
And people was like, girl, you know you're not supposed to do that, because that's what she was going through, her whole little vegan holistic phase or whatever she was doing. I don't know.
Or whatever she was doing is crazy.
Because it was just a lot, but
I think that.
And then she was with Little Meats. Like, I don't know. That just, ugh. Like, they say he smelled like onions. And you know I hate onions. Ooh, I hate a funky. So I hate onions and I hate a funky
Not Little
nigga.
Meats, just called a stray.
They say he smelled like onions. I don't like that.
Oh, goodness gracious. I feel like now some people you do have to hold accountable for their actions, right? Especially when you have a platform. But I do feel like a lot of celebrities and Summer Walker included, I think that some people have to get adjusted to their lives being under a microscope, and some people never get adjusted because it's just not a way that they choose to live. And I think that's such a disadvantage because all she's doing is simply I'm assuming what she feels is best, like in terms of like raising her child, or just, it's like you're learning as you go, and you can't learn. It's hard to learn in front of people that are watching you with a close eye, and they're looking for any little thing to be critical about.
But you don't have to expose stuff. Like, now y'all done heard me say this 1,000 times. I ain't in the beehive, okay? But if I were, once I get to the scale of constant looks from the private eye because my social status has elevated, or my career, or whatever that may be, you just scale back what you show. Like, you don't, that's what I was saying. I'm like, everybody's so busy trying to be seen. You want to put everything on social media. We didn't see Blue Ivy until she was 2 or 3 years old. And when we did see her, we sure wasn't looking at what she was eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, she showed that girl, and that was it. Like, you the one who got on here and opened yourself up to backlash, and then got mad and was like, why everybody worry about what I'm feeding my kid? Because you came and put it on social media.
But that's part of the learning, though, I feel. And if you
but she's not somebody that I make an exception for, because you're on the backside of this social media thing. And it's funny because me and Mike were just having a conversation about this the other day. This would be different, and I would give a lot of these celebrities a pass if this was still Vine in them first few years of social media and all that other stuff. Now we done had too many years of people going live and all this other stuff for y'all to know better. Like, that's just like somebody like Ari Lennox. I think Ari Lennox is a very talented artist. Do I like her as a person based on what she presents? Absolutely not. You're a fucking crybaby. Because what do? You sit here and you pick stuff for no reason. Like that whole ordeal she went through a week or two ago about, I'm watching Martin, or I was personally offended by the way Martin picked on Pam on the show, because I'm dark skinned just like Pam. And it was like, girl, he never ever talked about her skin color. He talked about her hair, about her run over shoes, but she talked back about him too. That was the crux of their relationship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if you really watch Martin, you would know that they were also friends too. They looked out for each other when it was absolutely necessary. Like,
and make no mistake about it, let's be very clear, okay? Pam, bad.
Well, listen, what she was the sex symbol of that show.
Period. Okay.
And that's
Body,
my point.
You fashion,
get
tea,
everything.
Okay, everything.
Okay,
face card,
everything.
Okay, clearing.
And so you got on here and you done got on your soapbox and it created a whole think piece about how you were offended by something and you were so off the mark. And then when everybody was like, "Girl, did you ever even watch the show? Like, where did you come up with this analysis from?" She came back and doubled down and was like, and people learned this. And now you're the victim because people called you out on you just talking. Like, shut up.
So I'm gonna,
because why did you have to come up with that?
I'm going to play devil's advocate. I understand both sides of the coin, only because I feel like I'm at a point where maybe this is just me because I just don't be caring. I feel like I can't tell people how to be offended or what to be offended by. Like, if that's what you got from that, I just be like, okay.
But my point is, why, once again, the point
but I see what you're saying is,
why did you have to say that?
You're opening yourself up.
Why did you even have to come?
Potential target.
Why did you think we gave a damn about how you felt about what Martin was saying on TV?
Yeah, I get that.
Like, people would not know that I'm scared of the movie New Jack City if we did not talk about it on this show. Like, I talked about it because I was okay with talking about it. Am I going to sit up here and be like, I feel like anybody that watches that movie, I was so offended because how did Mario Van Peebles, he took that movie and he, like, come on, really? Y'all be looking at me like, really? Well, I could just say he just made a mockery of the black community, tore our communities apart in the 80s. Like,
and then
girl,
the other part about this,
don't get on the soapbox. We don't care.
So the other part about this for me is thinking, I don't know when people are trolling and when they're not. Like, she could 1000% meant that. She could 1000% just simply got on there for attention.
But the way she came back and responded to the backlash, I knew she wasn't trolling. Like, she was in her feelings about it. But
that's how I was just saying, like, that's how I look at it. I'd be like, yeah, I don't know, she like whatever. I just would, okay. I don't know if you're trolling or not. What show is this, by the way?
227. I mean, not this ain't 227.
This is not. No, it's this is far.
It's definitely some numbers.
Now the same
Three's Company.
Same font.
Designer.
Yes, same font. Whoever did the font, the credits.
They did it for all the shows.
Yes, they did it for all the shows.
This is Three's
Company. Are they in a throuple?
No.
Oh, okay. I never seen this show a day in my life.
Really? Three's Company is the shit.
One day I'll sit and watch
Three's
it.
Company is he's just their male roommate. But he like dates women and stuff. But this is I think this is set in like the 70s or the 80s. So because of that, there's parts of the show where he pretends like he's gay because they have a problem with a male living with two females, even though it's platonic. Like, they date other, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, they're just like three best friends living together. And it's,
Sometimes we just watch things for visuals as we're recording.
Yeah.
So, Three's Company, y'all.
It's weird because I have a thing about that. It's funny that has carried over into the pod now that you say that, because people always ask me that. Like, when I read books, like I'm sitting in the house reading, I can't just sit in here with like the TV off, light on in a book. I have to have the TV on.
In the background.
It could be either on mute or it could be the volume can be really, really low. Yeah. And I have to study like that. That's how I read, because my focus works better when I have to focus in on one thing.
You got something else that could potentially distract you in the
background? When it's extremely quiet and I'm reading, my mind tends to, like, I have to reread the paragraph like 4 times because my mind is somewhere else. But if my mind is using its energy to focus, it can't veer off and like daydream.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Three's Company, that's so interesting that you brought that up, because I have something else to talk about for Rhythm and Groove, but it just reminded me of this scenario that I attempted to put myself in, and I was thinking about it randomly one day. Like, that would have never worked, and I don't know what I was thinking. But it's similar to this, but it was with the ex. I was willing to move into an apartment with an ex that had simply become, like, we had more of a friendship, like, at that point. And he was like, no. Basically, I was saying, like, we could get a 2-bedroom apartment and just live together.
Absolutely.
And he was like, what makes you think that that's going to work? Mm-mm. And I was like, I feel like it would, because at that point, I was cool. Like, I'm cool on you. I'm just trying to make this an easy situation for both of us, an easier financial situation. And he was like, absolutely not, Diamond. And now I think back on it, and it was like, yeah, that wouldn't have worked for me. But I know some people, like, that can do that and that have done that. Like, I know people that have lived with partners or old partners, ex-partners, and they might be on opposite sides of the house, but they live together and they don't sleep together. Like, they have no type of ties together. It's just a situation that works out best for them. I know that you couldn't do nothing like that, I'm assuming. I'm assuming based off of how she's looking.
The reason why I say I couldn't is because I know men, and it wouldn't bother me per se, like, because I don't care. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
when they come to your room and say, "Can I spend the night tonight?"
No, see, and I was getting ready to get at is kind of like that, but different. I'm okay with it because I'll be in my room reading. I'll be listening to my true crime podcast, minding my business. I wouldn't care what y'all do, okay? But see, the tables is going to turn when I finally bring somebody home.
Yeah.
And you already know what's about to. You already know how I get down.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And
he was like,
you gonna be sitting around walking pace in the kitchen because you're gonna be like, are they in there doing it or not? And you know we not, because if you don't hear him, you know we, because you know how I do things.
Oh my God! So, please, not if you don't hear him. Because if you don't hear him, then
but that's my thing, and that's and men are a lot more emotionally fragile than they would like to admit, and they a man would not be okay with. I don't care if it's been 5 years, because after 5 years they come back. I got one after 20 years. He be, hey, when you coming back in town, like that kind of thing. Like, it doesn't matter how much time has passed, they're still going to try it. And so you're going to at some point degree. As a woman, you could be minding your business. You could have watched them bring 11 women up through there, you know what I'm saying, in months 1 through 5. As soon as month 6 get here and you entertain one person, you know what I'm saying, and y'all don't even got to be on that type of time. Like, y'all could have just gone on a date and you could have just been looking good and brought him back to the room with you and no intentions on doing nothing. But as soon as that man's mind starts thinking, what is she in there doing with him? Did she have a good time with him? She ain't ever looked like that when we was out on the date. Yeah. Like, his mind is going to just go into overdrive, and that jealousy is gonna kick in. Like, it's gonna hit you faster than the heroin high. It's gonna hit him, and it's just gonna be weird behavior from that point. Like,
yeah, whether he brought that up though.
Yeah.
He was like, so what makes you feel like I will be okay with you bringing a man into a house that we share together? They
never think about it like, are you going to be okay with a woman? It's him. Like, yeah, I said, it's always
like,
them.
No. He's like, I just feel like that's not a good situation for us to be. And so that was the one time, twice.
Yep.
That was one of 2 times that he was completely honest. And I was like, you know what? I respect that. Yeah. That was one of the times.
Because really, think about it. You could be in love. This is the perfect analogy. It'll be like you and your new man is like the mama and Ving Rhames off Baby Boy. And your ex is going to be like Tyrese. You know what I'm saying? God. Like, essentially.
But it's like, that's where boundaries come in, right?
I mean, I'm not saying necessarily in like the actual exact, oh, y'all going to be in the house doing it like that. But I'm just saying it's once that he came in and started feeling that affection of his mom leave, he did not. He hated that man. It was a competition for this woman's attention.
Yeah.
On a heavy level, neither one of them would admit it and be a man enough to say it. Point. But that's my mama, and it's gonna be you know what I'm saying? He gonna be, how do you know your ex ain't gonna be in the house on some Ray J shit? I hit it first. You see what I'm saying? Like,
that is so funny.
You never know what you're gonna get. Exactly. How do you know y'all?
If I get one.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, listen, imagine having this dude, and you know what I'm saying? Y'all just set the scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if I was a man and that was my situation, I would be petty, and that's what I would do. I would let you go out on like 4 or 5 dates with this dude. I wouldn't say nothing. As soon as you bring him home and he spend the night, especially if it's on a weekday, the next morning when I get up for work to make my coffee, I'm playing the OJ's She Used to Be My Girl. I'm going to be playing everything, okay? Tony Braxton, Love Should Have Brought You Home Last Night. Another sad love song. I'm going to go ham, okay?
That is so funny.
Listen, and that's what men do. They act like they don't, but all women got stories of at least one man being like that.
So the other part about that is, and I 1000% agree with you. I'm pretty sure every woman has a story like that. But the other part about it that I was thinking about was, how would I, as a woman in that situation, potentially, right? How do I even explain that to somebody that I'm dating currently? Like, I would never be able to tell them, like, for real, like, oh yeah, this is my ex that I live with.
Well, the only way to tell them is to show them, to be completely honest, because think about how many times you hear, like, men, that you hear that age-old story of men saying, oh, well, I ain't with her no more. We just roommates until the lease up. Okay, but you can't come over there because it ain't like that. But if I bring you over here and he's sitting on the couch with his feet kicked up playing PS5 and we walk in the house and he like, what's up? Then that proves to you that it ain't what you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It ain't no nefarious behavior because nobody is going to just let that pass.
But I also feel like a lot of men still wouldn't believe it. Like they probably still had they thoughts of like, nah, you definitely hitting that here and there because they feel like if they were in that situation, that's how they would get down. That's how they would operate. So it's definitely something to think about. Did you have something for Rhythm and Groove?
No, I didn't. But that just makes me think about though. Have you ever seen The Breakup with Vince Vaughn and Jennifer Aniston?
No.
You have to watch that movie because essentially what happens is they're a couple, and we can talk about this part on another episode because this is a lot to unpack. But they were a couple who bought a house or condo together, but they were not married. Like I said, we'll put a pin in that. But essentially, they decided to break up. But because they owned this property and it was like a condo in Chicago, so this was like top dollar property. They're trying to sell it, but it was like one wanted to sell it, the other one didn't.
Dang.
So the whole breakup movie is like they break up within like the first 30 minutes of the movie. The rest of the movie is them trying to coexist in this space physically together while the house is trying to be sold. They're still trying to figure out if they're going to break up. They've broken up, but they're trying to figure it out. But the entire time they're making each other jealous. So she probably told the dude, she was like, hey, come pick me up. He in the house playing video games. He like, y'all about to go on a date? Buy her this to drink because she'll get sloppy drunk. Like, crazy. Like, you got to watch because it's Vince Vaughn. So it's funny. It's absolutely crazy.
I'll probably watch it tonight.
It's one of those movies, but it examines that kind of in a weird way of them being exes, essentially becoming exes, but they're still co-owning this property.
New fear unlocked.
Yes, but that's why I said we can talk about that on another episode about like what kind of stuff do you enter into with a mate that you have not had a commitment from. Like we could talk about a whole episode about that because that's a lot. We will
talk about that maybe even in the next episode.
But speaking of
that makes
a lot. But speaking of all of that, don't we got something real? We got some people that need some advice.
Yes, we do. We have a very juicy question. But before we jump into that, I just want to share a fun fact for the Delicious Dive because I feel like this is funny. When I read it, I thought it was funny. What do you think the world's most stolen food item is? If you had to take a wild guess, what do you think people frequently steal?
I mean, if I'm thinking like a black person, I'm going to say crab legs. But if I'm thinking like a white person, I'm going to say grapes.
You gotta go say grapes.
Yeah.
That's such a stark difference. Two totally different sides of the spectrum. Crab legs and grapes. Well, it's a no for both of those.
Oh, wow.
The world's most stolen food item, is cheese.
Really?
Yes. And I thought that was so interesting because why are people stealing cheese?
Well, that would make sense because in a lot of other countries, especially Europe, cheese is like a big deal. Like we don't serve cheese and sell it in markets in America like they do in other countries.
True.
So the accessibility is there. That would make sense.
So according to the internet, cheese is widely considered the most stolen food in the world. And it's approximately, even though it's considered the most stolen, only 4% of the world's cheese production is stolen each year. So I guess that's significant, I'm assuming. But you still got another 96% that's accounted for. But that's according to some reports, right? So we really don't know all the facts and stats behind it. But essentially they're saying that because of the value of the cheese, like you said, some people have cheese or look at cheese in a different way. And then you got all these different varieties of cheese. And so certain varieties are priced at much more. And concealment. It's easy to just grab a wedge of cheese and drop it down in your bag. And also accessibility. So it says that compared to other items that may require more sophisticated security measures, cheese is often less protected in stores. That is true. So you're not putting no anti-theft thing on some cheese. Yeah. So people be stealing cheese. And I thought that was so interesting because I was not anticipating cheese. I would think like a steak.
Well, that's what I was
Just
getting
some
at
of meat,
when I
like,
said black
people
people, because
steal
people
it.
be putting boxes of crab legs, pot roast, all kind of stuff in their pants. So
Yeah, nope, it's cheese. People be stealing cheese. And so and I'm looking at another stat from Yahoo. It says that it's estimated that more than $3 million worth of cheese is stolen each year.
that's crazy.
That is crazy. And people, apparently people also resell cheese. So if you get enough
What?
of it, yeah, so like you steal like a high grade of cheese.
First, listen, I buy a steak off a nigga before I buy a block of cheese.
Like cheese.
You know what I'm
crazy.
saying? Like, you could pull
How
up to
much
my
you
house.
like cheese that you
You
want,
could pull up to
like-
my house and be like, listen. You know what I'm saying?
gonna
I
boost
got
it?
this. Yes, I can. Listen, I will buy some porterhouse steaks off the back of a truck. But I'm not buying no cheese, though. Come on, man.
Yeah, like, because how long you had this cheese?
Yeah, like something
it's so
about
many
that. Like, I can
questions.
look at this meat and tell if it's fresh or not. I can't. This cheese, especially the kind of cheese I like. You know what I'm saying? Like, they already gonna be mad at me because I'll be like, "Do you have any goat cheese? Do you have any? Do you have any?
Any brie?
Yeah, like, come on. I'm asking for different stuff. You have any Munster cheese? A smoked Gouda, thinly sliced? Ma'am, we don't have that.
Fresh mozzarella. They're like, we got American and beer.
It's some cheddar.
Pick your poison. It may have some mozzarella. But yeah, I thought that was very interesting. Moving on to Counsel and Confessions. We do have a very juicy story. So someone reached out to us and submitted this. Shout out to them. And here's the scenario for y'all. It says, my friend passed away October of 2023, and I feel a way about the fact that her husband is expecting a baby with the lady that he cheated on her with. She even caught them in the bed together at one point. Obviously, it's none of my business, so I'm not going to say anything, but I want to know, how soon is too soon for a widow or widower to move on, or is there no timeline? That's a very wild scenario, and that's the first thing I thought was,
you know
like,
what? It's not to me. And I'm gonna say this. You know, I apologize, Granddaddy, before I even get this started, and Grandmama too, because I shouldn't be telling y'all business.
Oh
but
my God.
I can't say. My grandmama died. My granddaddy was cheating on my grandmama since before my grandmama died, with the same woman for years. Maybe a week after my grandmama funeral, she was at the house. But once again, my grandmama knew the lady. Like, she didn't know her like they were friends, but my grandma had done her due diligence. Like, you gonna laugh, but in this very house that we sitting in right now recording this podcast, I got this lady biographical identification and all kind of stuff because she had gotten her information, like address, where she worked. She knew, my grandmama knew her license plate information. My grandmama had went to the house before, pulled my granddaddy, knocked on the door, pulled my granddaddy off, beat his ass off the porch type shit. Like, back in the day, like, you know what I'm saying? So my granddaddy brought that woman around, but everybody knew. Like, my granddaddy had took that woman on a trip, and my grandmama was still living. She picked up the phone one day at the house, because this is way before cell phones. She picked up the phone one day and they was like, yeah, Mrs. So-and-so, how we calling to see how was your trip. My grandma was like, I ain't been on no trip. My granddaddy and his mistress was out posing as Mr. and Mrs. Blank while my grandmama was sitting at home.
Nah.
So he brought this
would
woman
have to see
around.
me.
He always, my grandma was always throwing them hands, baby. I'm talking about always.
But it's like, at that point, why don't we just get a divorce?
Well, she was about to do that before she passed. She ended up getting diagnosed with cancer. And so she was literally like, that's a whole nother story we could talk about off air, but I thought I had told you about that, but we're going to talk about it. Yeah, me and you going to talk about that, because that's a whole nother story. But yeah, so he brought that lady around like within a few weeks of my grandmama being dead. But it was one of them things of like kind of that same situation. He was with the woman before. She already knew it. And so that's my thing of if she had already caught them, and I hate to say it like this, and I know, I hope nobody takes it the wrong way, because clearly I'm experiencing a lot of grief, so I don't mean to like say it in a way that I'm seeing like I'm discounted. But if she had already caught them, the lady dead. Now what's she gonna do about it? Like, she had already caught him. So that was the thing with my granddaddy. It was like he brought her around because in his mind, everybody already knew. The family knew. My grandmama knew. She was everybody in the family knew about him and his mistress. So
what you're saying is you don't feel like there's a real timeline.
No. I mean, especially when you consider the situation with that backstory. I feel like everybody needs time to grieve, but nobody's timeline is the same. Me and Mike lost our son. We still on two different grief timelines, and that was both of our only child, both of our first kid, our only child together. We on two different grief timelines. When I thought I was ready to have another kid, he was like he wasn't ready, and when I was ready, when he was ready, I was like I wasn't ready. It was a lot that we went through in a short amount of time, so it's hard to quantify that and say what a number looks like. But my point is with this is when somebody was already with that person before, it's unrealistic to even have an expectation that they're going to give other people time to digest that, because that's essentially what it is he had already moved on with that other woman anyway. He was already doing whatever he was doing with her from the beginning. Now he's just free to do it without a heavy conscience because his wife has passed on. The time isn't for him and the woman to get comfortable because they've already gotten comfortable because they've been seeing each other. Right. The time is for other people to be okay with digesting it. Like, I don't think they were sitting at home saying, well, we're going to take some time out. We're going to stop. We've already been sleeping together and doing stuff together, but we're going to stop it because your wife died, and then we'll pick it back up. They was probably like, nah, I ain't going to take you to no family functions. I ain't going to take you around because you know it's still fresh for everybody else. Right. We going to get him some time, and then we just going to go ahead and bust out with it.
We going to take a 5-minute recess from hunching and hollering.
And so I hate to sound crass, but as for somebody that's been in that hot seat of that direct grief, you can't tell me how to get over my grief and when, or how long it's going to take me to. And so just because, and I'm going to say this too, just because he's with this woman and he done had a baby with this woman, don't mean that that's where he's going to end. That don't mean that that's going to be his landing space.
So that's the part that I was thinking of too. And I agree. You can't tell people how to grieve and when to get over it and what timeline is suitable. Is really based on that person and also the proximity of the relationship that is, in this case, it was already a thing. So there's no real timeline, but I do think that people have to be cautious about entering situations like that, especially with someone who's newly grieving, because you don't know. You know, you can know what that person is telling you, but you don't know.
That's crazy, because that's what I was going to say. Is if anybody I feel sorry for, it's that woman.
Yeah, because you don't know if he is jumping into something with you. Yeah, jumping into something with you to rebound off of that grief and that feeling of losing his wife, because at the end of the day, they were still married. You don't know if maybe it is something serious and they will end up in something down the line. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I will always think, you've seen what he's capable of. Yeah. So what makes you feel like you're any different?
That is absolutely the issue. And then too, I ain't trying to be funny, but you know, and that's, and I've considered this in my own situation, which is why I did not want to rush into having another kid right after I lost my son, was because I wanted to grieve properly and heal, because it would not be fair to my new child to always be feeling like they're living in the shadows of their brother. Like, I just don't feel like that's fair. And I say that to say that I just couldn't see myself dating no man who's newly widowed, because you ain't about to sit back to me. You ain't about to be sitting back crying to me about no dead woman. Like, we ain't about to be laying in the bed and you gonna be like, yeah, I remember how Tanya used to fry her chicken. It used to be so good. I'ma slap you out the bed. Like, you not gonna, you know what I'm saying? And then two, it's how much emotional fulfillment is he able to provide for you while you're pregnant and you're going through this vulnerable state if he's grieving? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's just it's a dangerous landscape.
It's a dangerous landscape. But once again,
for all parties involved,
we can't tell nobody when they could do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something for them to figure out. Maybe, you know, how we know they wasn't doing the Papoose and Clarissa Shields and planning to have a baby before the lady died. It was like, oh, we gonna have one next year. You know what I'm saying? Even though you still married. Like, they could have been, we don't know what that looks like. So that's why I say I don't ever want to tell nobody like, oh, you supposed to just get over it, because I'm not trying to be funny, but you know, in the same regard, if your mom was 75 and she lost your dad or she lost her partner, you know what I'm saying, and she went and met somebody at bingo a year later, would you be telling her, mama, don't date him, you just lost your husband? No, you might gonna be like, you need a friend, you need a companion. Now, having a baby, once again, is a little far, but we can't tell nobody what that's gonna be like, because as that woman, I would feel a type of way, because now y'all are having a baby, and are you just using this baby to get over your wife? You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have a million and one questions about your intention behind doing this, because the average person would probably be like, it's, you know, I don't mind us being serious. I don't mind us dating, but it's a little soon for us to be having a baby. I just lost my wife. Like, Tasha, can you please give me some baby? I just lost the love of my wife. Like, I just lost the love of my life. Like, that's, you got to give that man a little bit of space. But hey, once again, if they like it, I love it. But I think that's crazy. Like I said, I think it's crazy. But once again, y'all been knowing y'all already knew he was with that woman. So shouldn't nobody be surprised that he's still with her now.
I just wouldn't be surprised if it's a pattern with that person. And I do believe, just as you were saying, Tosh, that grief requires time. From experience, it requires time, and you just don't know. And I would have questions too, like, is he doing this just so, you know, to kind of help counteract or balance out the fact that he did lose his wife? We really don't know. But that was a great question. Thanks for sending it in. And jumping into the Sanctuary Scoop, follow us on all platforms: YouTube, Instagram. We're on Facebook. We have a Facebook group. Everything is at The Soulful Stir. If you search us on Facebook, you'll find the group, The Soulful Stir group. And TikTok. I don't think I mentioned TikTok, but we are on TikTok as well. So follow us. Keep us on your timeline. Shout out to DJ Honey Noir for visiting us last week. Also, we had a lot of good comments from last week's episode. People were saying that it was so funny and fun, and I think it was just something new for us to have our first guest on. She will not be the last, so look forward to us having more guests on the pod. Do you have something for the people, Sash?
Kinda, but it's on a different level, because I've had like 3 people ask me, like, can I come and be on your show? Can I come and just be there? First of all, okay, this is not...
Be here and do what?
Listen, this is not a spectator sport, okay? You're either playing, i.e. recording, or you ain't here. Second, don't you ever ask me, can you be on my show, when I ask you how many episodes you listen to, and I tell you we got 20, and you tell me probably 2 or 3. Don't ever disrespect me, okay? I'm just going to put that out one more time, because I cussed this person out.
You got to tell me who asked you that.
I will. It's going to blow your mind. I tell... It is. Because what? Like, where did this even come from? But don't you ever tell me. And then when I say, oh, it's only been 2 or 3, and you ask me, will you tell me that you listened to one of them because you thought I was going to be talking bad about you on one? Let me tell you something. What? Let me tell you something.
Oh, I feel like I know who this is. It's crazy.
Ain't nobody bigger than the program. Okay? Yeah. Ever. All right? And I'm going to tell you one more time. Don't ever disrespect me and ask me to come on my show when you don't even watch my show. Ho. Carry on.
Well, with that being said, this has been another episode of The Soulful Stir. Later.